Okay, good morning. It's day 51, and here's an article from about 3 months ago talking about Representative Franks. And he's got some kind of inside knowledge about the Iwans and the Iwans potentially bringing Hina Alvi back and getting a plea agreement. So this was in Zero Hedge about 3 months ago. Interesting about, or maybe 2 months ago. Now, interesting that he's been targeted for some kind of sex and drugs kind of thing. We don't know exactly what it is. But if you just go back and read Luke Rosiak's articles, and it's almost like a new search engine on, a meme. If you say Daily Caller, Luke Rosiak, and then any term, it'll immediately prove whatever you want to say about the Iwans. There's so many articles he's got. I think he's got 50 some articles now. But here it is. DWS. Had a secret server, 45 different folks from the House and Congress that they were funneling information to on a secret server. Right there. It says it right there. So Luke knows what is in the police report. I believe Pat Sowers has given them that information. He's seen the police report, so he knows what's happening. They're also being routed to this Dropbox. Okay, so this 1, 2, 3 type information, is what I call it, is being routed to the Dropbox. So now it gets to the question of who are the 45 members. Now, Luke Rosiak came out with an article yesterday saying there's going to be 40 members that are going to be targeted. 40 more members are going to leave Congress. We've had about 5 with Conyers and Franken and now Trent Franks and so forth, and there's about 40 more to go. They're basically going to expend all the dossiers as fast as they can, and then I predict they're going to collapse Fusion GPS. But these are the other 40 dossiers to go. It just seems so obvious to me, but maybe it isn't. So I say that the modus operandi, okay, with this whole system of going after Democrats is: one, you get them interested in sex. That's going to be the Jaquea. That's the pink part of the cocaine, if you know what I mean. 2, drugs. 2 is drugs. That's the cocaine part of cocaine, not just cocaine, but all kinds of drugs, right? And 3 is you get your 1, 2, 3 agreement with them, which means you do an arms deal with them. So it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Rock and roll being sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Rock and roll being where we want to get to, which is arms dealing. Okay? Same sort of meme exists with George Webb now on YouTube. There's so many videos. You just say George Webb and 1, 2, 3, and then get a cup of coffee while it scrolls on all the different things I've said about 1, 2, 3. But if you remember back, I said, look, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. We get them on the sex, we get them on the fast cars, we bring them into the country, EB-5. Now we control that country, basically. I mean, now we have Imran taking them to the strip clubs, $3,000 a night. We get them a visa, then we bring them in. We bring in girls through the European Adoption Agency so they can have a harem of 5 or 6. If any of them get in any fights and you beat them, you stab them, whatever, you bring him on over, you blame him for doing it. You have concierge services here with very nice cars. You have limo services with Rayo, 1, 2, 3, Rayo. You got the girls, got the drugs, it's sex, drugs, rock and roll. Very simple formula. Sex, drugs, rock and roll is 1, 2, 3. Rock and roll being we want to rock and roll, do business, which is going to be the arms dealing. Now, if you don't believe that, all you have to do is read the newspaper. Here it is. The Saudis just did a deal for nuclear power plants. Okay, they want to build a couple more nuclear power plants, right? And here are the people we're going to be targeting. I'll bet right now, KAF here, the energy minister, I'll bet right now that Imran Awan knows who Khalid Al-Fali is. You know, that's your new entity for today, KAF. And I'm going to go down here a little bit. It's going to be KCARE, this King Abdullah City, is going to be the government agency that's going to be involved. So there's a new entity as far as a business that we're going to follow. And it's going to use Westinghouse and France EDF. Okay, great, KCARE. Now I got KCARE. I know what King Abdullah City is. Okay, great. And who is it? We'll go on to the United Arab Emirates in Qatar for later this week. Okay, so we're talking about bringing in nuclear technology, and I think we're going to be bringing in nuclear fuel, folks. I mean, it just jumps off the page at you almost with neon lights. And what is it? That's how you get to a 1, 2, 3 agreement. Sex, drugs, and then now we're rocking and rolling with our 1, 2, 3. That's McCabe. Now I've got NNSA, I've got McCabe, I've got FBI cover. Boom, I'm done with that one. Let's go get another country with a 1, 2, 3. It's just that simple. It's just not any more difficult than that. It's going to be the 1, 2, 3 Dropbox. Everything to 1, 2, 3 compromise. Everything with low light cameras. Everything with Jaquaya. Miss Jaquaya. Everything with that email. Everything with Laura Hendricks. Yahoo. Everything in this process of compromising Congress, 1, 2, 3. It's not just going to be the House, it's also going to be on the Senate side. You're going to see it coming. So, if one thing I also wanted to say was the reporting about Lambert. And what Deep Task Force and I kept on talking about coming back from going and visiting Lambert is this is a massive story, 30 Watergates, as ex-director Kallstrom used to say, and it's just sitting there. No one has driven up there and talked to Mark Lambert and said, hey, Mark, were you a Navy expert? Were you a expert in logistics? Were you at the listening post in Greece? Is your wife, come through, Russia and Greece, and was she in Iran, and was she escaping, and would she have contacts? The Krupniks, let's meet the Krupniks. Well, the Krupniks, I think, is going to be a family of about 1,000 people. I think the Krupniks is a big network of Uzbeki truckers and, people all over Russia that are going to be bringing in people into the United States. And I think the European Adoption Center in Strongsville, Ohio is going to be where it is. Now, it's interesting, Mark Lambert said they recruited him as a CIA agent. He went to University of Cincinnati. I went to Miami. We were about 30 miles away from each other. We used to joke with the Procter & Gamble interviews that, did you interview with the CIA today? And everybody knew at Miami that meant Procter & Gamble. So I'm not saying Procter & Gamble is the CIA recruiter or they're embedded in the Procter & Gamble. Well, maybe I am. Who knows? But I'll just say that Mark Lambert said, hey, they recruited me as a CIA agent. I wanted to be a CIA agent. I knew the station manager in Athens. I came back. I did a little government work. I went to the National Monterey Defense Language Institute for 1 year of solid 6-day-a-week training, tests every week. I mean, there's no part of this story that's hidden. There's no part of the story that's hidden. And we're the whole NSM is crowded around the Congress waiting for someone to drop a breadcrumb about this guy named Campbell, who's had absolutely zero to do with running the company. This is the guy who ran the company for 20 years. He knows what's going on. He knows all the founders. He knows all the data. Why would you want this guy testifying for Uranium One rather than somebody who's just a bag man for Andrew McCabe? So what was great about that is it's there for anybody. It's there for the taking. I've gone and done the setup. Krupnik's there. Tanyata Krupnik is there. Her husband, or wife, or brother, her brother worked at the United States, U.S. Enrichment. They had a monopoly. They had the trucking, and then they had the people that were the buyers. So they knew all about this. It's right there waiting for anybody to go follow up on. Okay, I don't want to get too much off on that, other than just as saying, one simple trip and a setup of 3 little 3-minute videos, and you're ready to go, basically, for an investigative journalist organization. Okay, that's the morning report, and we'll follow up a little bit later on.